How did I end up so far from home? What I've come to realize is that learning is the most astonishing and wonderful thing that human beings have come up with. Learning makes us different from everything else in nature. Some bits of nature can do a little bit of learning, but not like human beings can do learning. And learning is the richest and most exciting thing we can do. The problem is that so many young people in the world today are locked out of learning. They're in school, they're being told things, they're acquiring knowledge, but they're not learning. And without that connection with learning, they're bored, disengaged, and not making progress. And our aim is to reconnect all those young people with the power of learning. Here in Frutillar, what we're trying to do is to give them the capacity to endlessly reinvent what they do, helping teachers reimagine learning, because that is what has the most powerful effect on children's learning in the long term. My name is Paul Collard. I'm Chief Executive of an international foundation based in Newcastle in England called Creativity, Culture and Education. And what we at CCE have argued for more than a decade in working around the world is that the way to reconnect children and young people to learning is to reconnect them to their own creativity. Our model generally pairs artists and teachers, placing them together in the classroom to work with children, to reinvent learning, to co-create activities and projects which deepen and improve the experience of education for all. And these partnerships have been powerful and effective and have improved attainment, well-being and attendance in thousands of schools around the world. And what is heartening is that the need to reconnect children and young people with their creativity is now gaining widespread international support. Andreas Schleicher is Director of Education for the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and is the man who developed and implemented the PISA test, which 15 to 16-year-old students all over the world sit in science, maths and literacy. His ideas, however, on the challenges young people face has now changed, as can be seen from this speech he gave in Durham late in 2018. The definition of creativity that Andreas finishes with in that video is one developed by Bill Lucas, Guy Claxton and Ellen Spencer for CCE 10 years ago. We needed a definition of creativity that artists, teachers, children and young people could understand, and the team from Winchester came up with the 5 habits of creative learning. They are to be inquisitive, persistent, imaginative, disciplined and collaborative, and developing these habits of learning in children and young people lies at the heart of all our international programs. We have learnt that these creative learning habits of mind remain valid across cultures and across continents because they are related to how we learn, which is true of all humans, and hence at the heart of the incredible diversity of children and young people across the world is a deep human commonality, creativity. And we have learnt that the learning environment that stimulates and develops our creativity is what we now call the high-functioning classroom, and you can see in the image. It is an environment in which children are challenged to think for themselves rather than give answers, where they are physically, socially and emotionally engaged, where the learning feels authentic and relevant to their lives, and their questions, interests and experiences shape the learning, where emotions are acknowledged and addressed, and where we learn to be deeply reflective.